Hello friends, welcome back to this new video. In the previous video we looked at embeddings and how a word and how it is matched to another word, but how do we store these values in a form of vector. So in today's short video we're going to look at how the vector search exactly works and how we do the ranking of words, and here we'll use NumPy. So on the right, if you look at, there are some certain things like retry run book. So in case of failure on a certain application, or so you have these things that you could go ahead and implement, like what do you do if a deployment fails. So you do a retry, or you roll back, or you start looking at cost runbook. So as the name suggests, you have to follow the one which is very closely matching to that. So vector search is basically a process of finding vectors that are very close to the query vector. In a RAG system, the query vector comes from the user's question and the stored vectors come from the document chunks. So these are two different things. And if a document chunk vector is close to the question vector, it probably means the chunk is relevant to the question, so that has to be used while responding back to the user. This is there are basically different ways to compare vectors. A small method is cosine similarity. Cosine similarity is the method of measuring the angle between two vectors, and if a vector point in a similar direction, then the similarity is obviously quite high, the score is high. For learning purpose, we can implement a simple version ourselves. We actually don't need a full vector database yet, so we can basically store a few chunks of their embeddings in a memory, calculate the similarity scores and sort the results and return the top matches. So this is extremely useful because it demystifies vector databases. So a vector database is a powerful, scalable and optimized, but the core idea is still store the vectors, compare the query vector, and the comparison happens between query vector with stored vectors and return the closest matches. So once you have built this by hand, so I will take you to the IDE. So once you have built this by hand, the managed vector versions will stop feeling like a magic. So it's basically a comparison, and there are multiple ways to do that. I will obviously add all these details in the description, so hope that makes sense. So here I have the readme which talks about what are the various things that you need before you go ahead and do that. So we just need NumPy, which is already installed, and we have like a bunch of records, and they have this vector, the values, and we compare that using NumPy. And so yeah, so we get these records, and these are sorted by the comparison which we perform between the query vector and the vector which is stored in the database. So that's about it. In the next chapter will be more interesting. We will build a tiny RAG pipeline using Python, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, thank you.